How do you raise emotionally strong kids when you're still healing yourself? Our kids don't need perfect parents, but they do need present ones. Jay is a family and child counselor, art therapist, and founder of Happy Souls Kids, a platform helping children ages 5 through 12 regulate big feelings through storytelling, gamified tools, and the voices of real role models. After surviving domestic violence and solo parenting during the pandemic, she became a counselor and in play therapy to help her son through anxiety and turn that survival into a mission to transform kids' mental health worldwide. Jay, I want to thank you and welcome you to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thanks so much for having me, Tiffany. Yes, my name is Jacintha, and it's very confusing for a lot of people. It's like Samantha and Jacintha put together. So everyone calls me Jay. So everyone just call me Jay. Just nobody forgets a letter. So I am now.
Makes it much easier.
It does.
I love your mission, though. You are on a mission to help 100,000 kids by 2027.
Yeah, I am. I think through all of the traumas that I've had in my life, I'm now on a mission to be able to support children and families and people globally to be able to not just connect to their kids, but to connect to themselves and teach kids about self-regulation.
It's so important. I didn't even realize how important it was, obviously, until might have been too late in my 30s. But, it's so important. And I've been saying that in so many of my episodes. We got to start them young with this because it literally changed their whole lives.
Well, that's what we say. Imagine that we knew the tools as children as we do now as adults. Like, imagine how different our life would be without taking away from our human experience. Like, it's just, I teach my kid things that I've only just learnt myself. And I think it's so beautiful. Like, he's so self-aware and he's 11 years old. And that's because I've allowed him to have a voice. And I think that allowing children to, first of all, be who it is that they are rather than us wanting them to be a certain way is just so important.
Oh, for sure. And they have to know how to regulate their emotions because I think a lot of times these kids, they hold it in until they can't. And then they're shooting in school. And, all that bottled up anger and just self-consciousness and all of that, it just eventually it blows up. So I think having children learn how to deal with their emotions at an early age is so much better.
And I'm on this mission because I didn't. I was a child who was such a happy little girl when I was really young, and then some things happened, and then I had big feelings and emotions, and you can't blame your parents. They were doing the best that they could, and they weren't ever allowed to express their feelings and emotions, so it's such a different language for them now. But the first thing I did was turn to sugar. I suppressed my emotions with sugar, and I'd steal $2 from my mum's wallet every day and go to the milk bar and have sugar, because sugar for me is an expression of emotion. I will get emotional, I will cry, I'll release the emotion. And that was a pattern that I've learned over time. It's still there, FYI, but it's a pattern that I did when I was a child. And so then when I got to the age, what did I turn to? Alcohol, partying, having fun, suppressing all of the stuff that had happened to me. I was very reactive, super reactive kid, and I wasn't heard, valued, seen. I was the black sheep of the family. I still am. But I think differently to people, and I've had to learn that the way I think is very different to other people, and that's okay. It still allows me to have a voice. It still allows me to be the person that I am. And that's what I want for children. They just need to be seen, heard, and valued, because that's where a lot of our issues come from. If we try and put a circle into a square box, it's not going to work. So we need to really work out who our children are and see them wholeheartedly for who they are. I've learned from my own experiences as a human that that's where my issues came in. I've spent my adult life dealing with my childhood, and I don't want kids to go through that. I want them to be able to process what they need at the time.
They need to, exactly, because all it does is fester, and then you get sick, and then it's more complications. They didn't have all this research when we were kids. They didn't do all this. So we don't know.
No, and that's the first place that I start with in counselling is for parents to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for not knowing. We didn't know back then. We didn't know all of these things. And sometimes when my child, we'll go back to the full story soon, but when my child was 3, I was working and working and working, and I wasn't a present mum. And he would go over to the grandparents over me. And I was like, oh, this is not who I want to be. And so that's when I made a change. So I think things that happen in our life, we have to really forgive ourselves for not knowing better.
Yes, forgiveness is so important. And I think a lot of us have a hard time doing forgiveness. I don't know if it's something that maybe we were taught when we were children, or I don't know what the hang up is, but a lot of adults have that issue and we've got to break it.
Yeah, taking accountability and forgiving ourselves are two things that I think that humanity really needs to work on. We all make mistakes in life. Our kids do too. And the more that we can accept the fact that we make mistakes, the more we can accept the fact that our children make mistakes. They're going to push boundaries. They absolutely are. They are going to test you. They are going to trigger you, and that's their job. And as soon as we can learn to accept that, that's where we can have that beautiful connection piece with our kids. But we first need to accept the fact that nobody's perfect and people are going to muck up, and we're going to have bad days, and some days we're going to be angry and we're going to be sad and frustrated. We tend to lean to the softer emotions like happy and joy and praise and all of these things, but that's not who we are. Like sometimes we're going to have bad days, and I think that the more that we can accept the fact that people are going to have moments, the better we're all connected.
And it's okay to be angry. It's okay to have bad days. That's another thing I really like to tell the community, because it doesn't mean that you failed. It doesn't mean you have a horrible life because you have a really bad day. With tomorrow's a new day, let's start again.
Yeah, it's a part of our existence. It's coming up because it wants to be released. We just need to work out healthy ways for it to be released. I've had some yucky things said to me over time by friends, and you're vomiting your stuff all over people when I was going through the worst trauma in my life. And it's like, oof. No, I'm having a moment. I've got some big stuff going on, and if you can't be there to support me, I'm good with that. But, it's very hard that some people find it really hard when people are going through a hard time. They don't know what to say. We had Are You Okay Day in Australia yesterday, and everyone's like, are you okay? And putting up posts and are you okay? Are you okay? Well, people don't know what to say if somebody says, no, I'm not okay. What's the answer? What do you do when somebody says, I'm not okay? Oh, okay. Yep. Okay, cool. They get uncomfortable. So all these days are beautiful and they're fantastic. But how about we support and teach people what to do when they're not feeling good?
So what do you do when someone's saying, no, I'm not okay?
Yeah. This podcast is a really great place to start, because we talk about domestic violence and we talk about separation, divorce, and all of these big moments that we've had in our life. And when I was separating, it was COVID. Like, I was so lonely. And in Australia, it was hardcore here. We couldn't go outside of a 5K radius, and I didn't have many friends in my 5K radius. So it was a really lonely time. And all I wanted was for somebody to say to me, hey, I'm going to grab some ice cream, come over and watch a movie with you and just hold you. And that didn't happen. And so I think in those moments, you just need to be really authentic. If you're not good with the big feelings, and a lot of people aren't, that's okay. Just know your place and say, I'm not good with the big feelings. I'm not good with this stuff. How about I come over and I bring some ice cream over? Or can we watch a movie? Or do you want to go for a walk together? Let's not talk about things because I'm not good at holding space. But let's find the mutual ground of some way I can help you. Bring food over to a person. But not saying anything when they're going through the highest trauma of their life is so much worse for that person. Is so much worse. Like, just show up in the capacity that you can and be really authentic and open with the fact that you can't be there because it's uncomfortable for you, not because you think that they've done anything wrong. When somebody's going through trauma, they're already completely and utterly broken, and what they need is love in those elements. They don't need somebody else to abandon them, and that happened to me a lot. I lost thousands of people when I separated. There's certainly a smear campaign out there somewhere saying all these things that weren't true. But, like the amount of people that checked up on me when I separated, like I could count on two hands. You know, it's like when somebody's broken, they're like, oh, not going there, not going there. But then when they go through that same thing, you're the first person that they come to because they know that you've gone through it and you understand. So people need to go through their own experiences and their own traumas to be able to understand what you've been through. And I just wish humanity wasn't like that. I just wish that people were more honest about how they're feeling and show up in a different way, however that means to them. Let's go for a bike ride. Let's go to the beach. Let's walk our dogs, whatever it might be. Just do something.
Right. Help them keep their mind off of it. That's always a good start.
Yeah. Like have some joy, do something fun, do something that they used to do as children. Go for a skateboard or a roller skate, or go into a knitting class or a pottery class, just something, whatever it might be.
So during the pandemic, you were saying that your son was having a really hard time and he was showing out, he was running away. How did you untangle all that?
Well, it was big. I'm going to start back a few steps there because my whole story kind of tells the bigger picture. When I was 17 years old, I had a boyfriend at school and I thought I was so cool. He was so much older and we'd go to nightclubs and do all of these things. And I was like, oh, I'm so cool. But I started drinking and partying at a really young age. I got kind of put into that realm very early. And I was on and off with him for 15 years of my life, and it was domestic violence. Like I haven't realized exactly what it was or put a name to it until I've done the work within myself to say, oof, that was really bad. It was physical, emotional, mental during that time. And I always looked at him and said, oh, well, what's wrong with him? Why is he treating me this way? But I didn't stop to look at myself and say, why on earth are you allowing somebody to treat you like this? Like, this is not good. And so I had to work out the habits and beliefs and the patterns and all of the things that I'd left behind. Like, when did it become okay for me to be treated like that? And I had to do the work on myself. And then about 20 years ago, I saw a meditation teacher. I wasn't able to express how I was feeling. I was too busy partying and drinking and just ignoring everything that was happening inside of me. And so I saw a meditation teacher and she just got me to draw and draw and draw, just using colors. She's like, here's a sketch pad. If you can't physically get the words out, get them out through color. So that's what I did. I started drawing. I didn't tell my friends. No, of course I didn't, because meditation wasn't socially acceptable 20 years ago. It was just so taboo. And so I'd still party, but then go see the meditation teacher and still party and go see the meditation teacher. And I was in this realm of like not knowing where my place was. And I don't regret going out and having fun, because I've met some amazing people in my life. Like I've crossed paths. I've got so many amazing memories. But it just wasn't the soul of who I wanted to be. I would wake up on a Sunday morning and I'd get a chicken fillet burger combo upsized with extra salt and water just for balance every Sunday morning. And I'd always just go, I just want to go for a run and watch the sunset. Like, that's the soul of who I am. But I just didn't know how to untangle myself there first. And eventually I did. I started slowing down on drinking. Well, no, I met I was single for about 7 years, and then I met another partner and we went through the party scene together, had really fun, had a good time. And then as I was kind of tapering off, like I was like, oh, it's just not who I want to be. I became pregnant. And so I was obviously pregnant, breastfeeding, didn't drink until my son was 18 months old, 11 months. I had a few drinks up until when he was 18 months. And then when he was 18 months old, we went to a bar and a restaurant, and I was like having lychee martinis and espresso martinis. And I was like, I'm back to who I was before, look at me. I'm so much fun. My body completely rejected it. I was so sick at the venue. Then I was so sick in an Uber on the way home, and I had a hangover for 5 days. And I just woke up that morning after the event, and I was like, this is just not the mum that I want to be. I do not want to be this person for my child. This is not who I want to be. And so I quit drinking, and I said, that's it, I'm done. And for people that know me, knew, like I was also, when I was sober, I would go to friends' parties, or, sometimes it was at a nightclub. I wouldn't go very late, don't worry. 10 o'clock and me, we're good friends. Anything above that is just way too late in my world. And I was so much fun, and I didn't need alcohol. I was still laughing and joking and dancing, and doing all of these things. And so when I quit drinking, people were like, yeah, whatever. Yep, we've heard it before. Yep, yep, yep. But I was so solid in my opinion. Like when I'm on, I'm on. Like there's no stopping me. And I've never drank since. Like I had a glass of wine and I had a sip from one when we were out for dinner once, and I was like, I just don't like it. I don't like this. I don't want to do it. And that was almost 10 years ago. So then getting to your actual question, in 2019, 2020, we separated. My son started school and it was COVID all at the same time. And he was not okay. He was throwing bins around the house. He was running up the street. His emotions were so well beyond anything I could support at the time. And even though I'd done my own healing journey, I'd been on breathwork meditation, I've studied Reiki, all of this stuff, for a child, it's just speaking a different language. It's talking a different language. It's how are you feeling? And he's like, well, I don't know. I'm 5 years old. We didn't say that, but that was his expression. Like, what do you mean? How am I feeling? I don't know what a feeling is. I'm really young. And so that's when we started drawing circles. And so I would draw circles. I did so much research during this time because that's who I am. Like, find a problem, I'll find a solution. And we started drawing circles on a piece of paper. And I said, can you just put the face in the circle of how you're feeling? And he was able to do that. And so he would put the face in and then we'd break it down further. Can you tell me what this means? And he'd say, this means angry, this means disappointed, this means sad. And we would break it down why he felt sad. And sometimes it was his dad got him a Nintendo. So sometimes it was like, well, can't play my Nintendo. And that's okay because it was just relating the feeling to the emotion. And that's how the process started. And so during that time, I was also doing a sadhana practice, which is pranayama, mantra, meditation, kriya, all of these things. And so we kind of did that together as well. But he was absolutely broken. It was just so much for a little boy to handle. Like COVID, we'd go to the park and we couldn't touch anything. That really scary time where we were like, what is this thing? Is it really dangerous? Is it not? Is it like, we were all confused. And before then, we had fires in Australia, and he's just like, Mummy, it's too much. I can't handle this. Oh, I know, mate. I'm right here with you. Then we had to sell a house, and then we moved to Torquay, and we didn't know anyone. And Torquay's like the surfing capital of Australia, about an hour and a half away. And I just knew that me and him needed to heal. We needed space. I needed to be away from my family because they're very overpowering, to say the least. And I just needed to be a 40-year-old woman to find herself. I needed to be on my own, to be able to make decisions that resonated with who I was, not who everyone else wanted me to be. And he needed to be a way to heal. And he was broken. Like, imagine going to school, being broken, and just the emotions that would overcome you. Like, there was some really big times with him that I still find really just, there's just so many memories in my mind of just this poor little broken boy. And as a mum, you feel so guilty. You're like, I played a part in that and I feel awful. And getting emotional talking about that. There's just so many times that come to my mind of how hard he found it. So many. He found the transitions hard. He would find it's like going from Pluto to Mars. Like, kids, when they go through that element, quite often get very physical, which he did. And that, me having a history of domestic violence, like, that was hard for me to process too. And so it was just us healing. I had a home practice. I started studying to become a counsellor, to be able to help my own child. And I saw during COVID, kids couldn't gain access to psychologists. There was a 6 to 12 month wait. So I studied as much as I possibly could to support my own child. So we had a home practice for him with all the modalities of play, and we had sand trays and slime and art and all of these things to be able to help him at home whenever he needed it. And that was kind of the birth of my business, Happy Souls Kids. So through all of this trauma that's just taken me a long time to explain, that was the journey of how I got to where I am. And I studied art therapy and how beautiful it is. And I never connected these dots until many years later, that I started with art on my journey. And that's what I do for kids and children. That's the modality of getting things out of your body is so important. So Tiffany, that's kind of how I got here, and that's how my business started, and that's how I supported my own child. I allowed him to have a voice, and I allowed him to feel his feelings, and I I would always say, hey, I'm right here with you, mate. I've got you. I've got every part of you. You and me were in this together. And I'd allow him to have control because he just lost complete and utter control in his life. So I'd give him elements of control. And it was most certainly the toughest time. There are so many times where, oh, it was big. His emotions were big. I remember him being at the beach once because there was a situation and it was awful. And his emotions were so well, they were okay to feel, because if I had have gone through what he did, it would have been awful. He went to a competition and no one was there to support him. It wasn't my time. And he was just this poor little boy, was just broken. So that's kind of what we did to heal, is what we worked on ourselves. And that's what we needed. And that's what we did.
Don't be so hard on yourself. Obviously, you made a lot of good decisions. You moved away from toxicity. You know, you were doing everything in your power. So don't be so hard on yourself. You did a great job, and you should be proud of that.
Yeah, thank you. I am really proud, and I don't know if it came across. I'm really proud of myself. I'm not so hard on myself, but I think that we did it together. Him and me needed us during that time, and the bond that we have now is so solid because of us being there for each other. Like, kids get just unconditional love. It's beautiful. And when you haven't had that in relationships, when you have that with a child, it's just beautiful.
Right. And I mean, it's you. It's a version of you. So it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, becoming a mum was my ultimate. That's when my life really started. And like, I love it. I remember my ex-partner saying, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. And I was like, oh my God, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever done. And yeah, I mean, that's part of our path and part of our journey. And I have a friend that says things are happening to you, not for you. And when you're in the mud, that's what I call it. The separation is the mud. You can't see it. But then when you get through it, you're like, oh, I get it. I get it. Okay. Thank you. Not thank you. Not thank you for all of the things, for all the things that have happened to me, because it has made me so much stronger in a human being that I am.
Oh, for sure. I mean, some of the times that we go through is like, am I being punked or something? Like, what the hell is happening? But once you can get through it and you look behind, you're like, holy crap. It's like the clouds just like separated and the sun comes shining out and you're just like a whole new person.
Yes. That's what it feels like this moment of like, that's really what it feels like. You're like, oh, the sun, the light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm such a butterflies, rainbows, like sun, loving the world. And mate, did I get smashed to pieces where I realized that the world's not like that. You might be, but it's not. And I think that was a hard lesson that I needed to learn. Not everyone's like you.
Right. Oh, yeah. No. All different kinds of walks out there. And you can't let those kind of people get to you. You know, everyone's going through their problems. So that's like a way I try to deal with like difficult people that I come across now. Like 10 years ago, you would have got a different version. Like, I would have snapped real quick. And now, you know, you learn to be patient and to realize that when people are like that, it's not towards you. It's something that's going on with themselves.
Yeah, and it's hard in the moment to see it. I've become less reactive, but I even had a moment with my family this week where I was super reactive. And, you know, you go back into that childlike state sometimes and you're just like, ooh, whoopsie. And that's the element of making a mistake and forgiving yourself and going, hey, that's okay. We made a mistake, and as long as we make our rights wrong, and everything's good. So it's a tough journey. People think a lot of the time when you quit drinking, your life's going to be like, oh, wow, my life's going to be amazing. Well, you might have to go through some stuff to get there first. And it can be lonely, and it can be hard, and it can be challenging. But everything that comes to you is there to teach you in some capacity. And I know that's hard for some people to hear because there's some really awful things that happen. But through every heartache that we have, there's a lesson. And I've had many traumas in my life. I've only mentioned a few. And so I know how hard it can get. Trust me, I know. but I still wake up every day and have a smile on my face, and I still believe in love, and I still believe in good people. And I think that if we focus on where we want to get to, I'm listening to someone called William Whitecloud at the moment, and he has this analogy where it's like the golf ball. When you're hitting the golf ball, if we just look to where we want to go rather than where we are, like that's where we need to look to. We need to look to where we need to go. And I think it's important that we stay in that space, because often people will say, don't play the victim. And I cannot tell you how many times I've heard that in my life. And sometimes you are the victim. Sometimes some really shitty situations happen to you and you are the victim. Now, we don't want you to stay in that space, but we want to acknowledge the fact that you have been the victim in your life at times. Absolutely. And so I don't like it when people say, don't play the victim. Say something like, hey, we want to help you move out of this victim space, but don't play the victim. Like, I just think that that's such a harsh thing to say to people that have had a lot of trauma.
Well, right, because they clearly haven't gotten to the space yet where they don't feel like the victim. So
Yeah, you need to move through it.
Yeah. And then you're a survivor or a thriver, but you got to get there. And you got to give people that space to get there. Everyone's at on their own pace. Just because you do it in 3-4 months doesn't mean this person might take them years. You don't know.
Because they might have stuff that's underlying that got to that point that you don't know about, and they might have had experiences that you don't know about. And I think it's important that we have compassion for that. If somebody's kind of moving away, let them move away, because they've probably got stuff to work on, and give them space to do that, because you mightn't be able to hold that space for them. And so they need to move away from you because you don't feel safe to them at that point.
Right. I'm really big on the show about breaking generational curses. And this is what I love about what you're doing, because that's exactly what you're doing. You are helping parents and children break the cycles of generational trauma and abuse. And that's what we need more of.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we do.
I
have 36.
Oops, sorry, go on.
I have 36 aunties and uncles and 100 family members, and not one of them really talks about feelings and emotions. They watch me on social media and they're like, oh, here she goes again, talking about feelings, and they find it really uncomfortable. So if you ask me who my target market is, it's my extended family. Like, I want them to talk about this stuff and feel, because they grew up in a household of eat concrete, you'll be right, don't worry about it, get over it, don't. Like, my dad is a hard man. He is a hard man. And he hasn't softened. He's starting to with my son. It's actually very beautiful. They're best friends. And since we moved back to Melbourne for business, and seeing the changes in him, like, I will say to him, he'll get upset and he'll say, Granddad, there's nothing wrong with crying. And he's like, oh, what do you mean? And there was one time we said to him, what did he say? It was, I was mortified. You're a better man than that. And I was like, we don't talk like that in my household, Dad. Like, that's just not how we talk to children, and especially boys. Like, boys are allowed to cry and they're allowed to get upset. And it doesn't make them any less of a man. But I think it's really beautiful that the next generation, we can teach them by mirroring how we are to our own children. Yeah. And it's beautiful to watch. He is the father to my son that he wasn't to me. It's really beautiful.
Right. It was very important for me too. I'm also a product of generational trauma. And I was like, no, I would start seeing some of the same patterns. And I was like, no, this ends right here. We're not doing this. Not doing it.
Yeah, I agree. Right here with you on that one. And I've got a lot of work to do, let me tell you.
Yeah, but you're doing such great work.
I'm doing it. Thank you.
Obviously, do the kids have to be in person, or do you do anything online?
Yeah, I do a lot of sessions online. I've moved back because I'm building a startup at the moment. I was in practice with one of the kids and I said, hey, do you want to do some meditation? He just rolls his eyes at me like, whatever, lady. And I said, LeBron James meditates, and instantaneously he was excited by that. Now, it's not just about meditation. It's about all of the things that we've talked about today, but utilizing people's heroes to be able to teach them. And I think that's a really important point to make, that we can learn just as much as kids can. And so this platform that we're building at the moment is about kids and parents doing it together, because sometimes the parent actually needs to meet the child where they're at, not just necessarily the kid needs to come to us. So it's a mutual beneficial arrangement where sometimes we've got to just work on ourselves to parent our kids in the best way possible. I don't have in-person sessions at the moment, but I do a lot of online work just because we're so busy with the startup. But yeah, I do online sessions with kids, and it's about helping them feel seen, heard, valued, understood, creating a different language within the household so you and your children can connect together. And sometimes that's not even having sessions with children. It's about having sessions with the parents. They give me parts, and I've had 20 years of work on this to be able to help parents and children connect together, because that's what's the bit missing in so many families is the connection piece. You might think that you're driving your kid around to after school activities and going here, but are you connected to them? Like, that's a really deep question. And I know that you know what I mean by that. Like, are you connected to them deeply? Like, can you do eye gazing with them, look at them in the eye? It's a really great connection exercise to do with them and truly see the person that's in front of you. Because a lot of kids will say, I don't think that my mum and dad love me. And that's heartbreaking because the parent does, like, more than anything. My dad was he was not emotional. He was not physically, like, he was not, my love language is, physical affection. And he was just not that. So I was like, when I was a child, well, he doesn't love me. Well, he does. He just shows it in different ways. And I think that's where we need to teach parents and children to help understand each other. Like, you might have acts of service where you do things for your child, or you might giving gifts to them in that capacity, or they might do that in their way. Words of affirmation, you might express how you're feeling in different ways. So children and families and parents, they love in different ways. And I think that that's a really important lesson for children to understand as well, is that just because it's not coming out of their mouth, it doesn't mean that it's not felt.
Right. Actually, I had a guy on my show. Oh gosh, look, this is a little over a year now. Paul Zolman, and he came up with a dice game, and they all had the little acts of service. And so it's love language. And then you'd roll it and say, like, whatever you landed on for that day, that's what you would show people. And I thought that was great. I'm like, what a great interactive way for kids to learn more, how to communicate, how to be a better friend, how to love and to feel loved. I thought it was great. And so he started, like, giving them to schools and stuff.
I love that. And it's also teaching kids that other people love in different ways. So it's not just what you need, because your needs are so important. It's also what other people are needing as well.
Right. Everybody's different.
Everyone is different.
I'm acts of service and gift. That's
most kids say gifts, by the way. I just like it when people buy me stuff and I'm like, yeah, well, that's a good one. Do you have a second one? So I'll always ask their top two. Like, what's another one that you really like? So I think it's really important that, we just understand children for who they are and what they need.
Yeah. Well, I like to be the one giving the gifts. I mean, I like gifts too. But, like, if I go out and I see something and I'm buying you stuff because, like, I'm thinking about you, that's my way of letting you know. Like, I love you. I was thinking about you, yada, yada.
I'm more physical affection and words of affirmation, but I guess mine would be more acts of service. Like, I cook for people. Like, I love cooking for people. And I think that's the way that I show my love, is through food. And especially for my family, I'm forever cooking for them. And I do it that way. I'm not so much of a gift buyer, but I am more just either words of affirmation or acts of service. I think they're the two that are really big for me.
Yeah.
I'll just feed you. I'm a feeder. Just feed you.
You don't want me to cook.
See, we're all different. We all have beautiful parts of us and some not so good parts of us too. There's many things that I'm just not good at. Yeah.
And that's okay. That's what makes us all unique.
Exactly.
So how long until, I know you're still in the startup stage, you said. What is it looking like? Like, what are you projected to?
We're in our prototype phase. So at the moment we are building and getting feedback from people. So it's called beta testing, where you get people on and they test it and they give us feedback, and we're building it with children for children. My son is my unofficial co-founder. Quite funny, Tiffany, when I became a mum, I was like, I'm going to be an earth mum and I'm going to live near the land and everything's going to be wonderful and we're going to go surfing, and that is not my kid. He is so technology minded. He has an engineering brain. He was putting batteries in toys when he was 2 years old. He is so switched on with technology. He's often the class tech guy, and he loves it. Like, his favorite thing to do is to pull his computer room apart and put it back together. I couldn't think of anything worse, and that's what he loves. And I'll say, let's go to the beach. We lived around the beach for 4 years. He's like, I hate the beach. I'm like, oh. And he goes, I hate the sun. I'm like, oh, that's like my heart. My heart is of the beach and the sun. And then I have this child that's telling me that he hates it. And I'm like, oh. He doesn't hate it. He loves it. When he's down there, he's in there for 4 hours and never wants to come home. But his initial thought is, no, I hate the beach. And so it's such a funny thing that we really need to see our kids for who they are. And it's just really important that we feel into that, because that's where your divide is going to come into it, is if you try and fit a child into a box that they just don't belong in. I can't even remember what your question was. I don't even know how I got off that one. But yeah, that just kind of came up for me now, is it's just really important to have that connection. So him being a co-founder, he loves gamification. And so when we built something, he was like, this is boring. And I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. I was like, well, what do you like? And he showed me all the games that he likes to play. And I said, I think we should do this, this, and this. And I'm like, okay, great. So that's what we started to build, is gamification and gamified learning. So children don't feel like that they're learning, they feel like they're having fun. And that's the best way that kids learn. So he is my unofficial co-founder, and we go to a lot of his friends and ask them their opinions and thoughts on what we're building.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, it's almost like you're hiding the veggies.
It's exactly, that is such a great analogy, Tiffany. I don't know if you use Duolingo, but it's kind of Duolingo versus Masterclass versus a Calm app. Like, it's all in there together. It's a lot of work. It's not an easy gig. The startup world is something I'm new to, and I've had to learn and do accelerator programs, and we had to move back to Melbourne and be close to family because I don't have a lot of support, unfortunately. So I haven't in the last 5 years. It was a lot for me. And I think the strongest thing I said is that, hey, I need help. I cannot do all of this on my own. It's just too much. And I think that's as a single mom, it's just really important that we do reach out and say, hey, I'm struggling here. Like, I need your support. But I just love what we're building. I just know that it's something I needed as a child, that my child needed when he was going through some tough times. I have the tools to be able to support him, but a lot of parents don't. So that's what this platform is for, is to tell the real, raw, authentic stories of human beings. Like, somebody might see somebody win a gold medal and be like, oh my God, they're so talented. And you're like, well, yes, but you haven't seen what they've had to go through to get there. And that's what we tell. So children understand that even the people that they love the most have hard days, that they find things hard, that they lose games, that they have a lack of self-worth, that they do all of these things such as meditation or prayer or journaling or all of these things to get all of their big stuff out. So maybe if a child hears that from so many different people, they might be like, oh, mum and dad aren't just nuts. They're not just telling us to do these things. Like, there's a reason that they are telling us, is because this is what some of the most important people in their life are telling the world. So yeah, it's a beautiful platform. I'm really proud of it, but yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you're creating like a whole new little world there just to help people figure it out.
Yeah.
It's so needed though, and so important.
Thank you.
If anyone wanted to get a hold of you, what's the best way?
So we have our website, Happy Souls with an S and kids with an S.com. And if you want to be a beta tester, or just send me an email at hello@happysoulskids.com. Then we have TikTok, Instagram, Happy Souls Kids. Then my personal one is Jacintha Field, JACINTHAFIELD. It's a massive tongue twister. Then I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of the things. I'd love to hear from people, because I think in this world, sometimes you don't have people that can support you, and it's really nice to surround yourself with people that can support you. And I know firsthand, I didn't have a lot of people that could hold that feelings for me. So I've had to create something that I know I can be there for other people when they need.
It's really helpful when you can befriend people who know where you've been or where you are, because a lot of people, if they don't get it, it's yeah. You know, people who get it, they get it. and they're willing
Yeah.
to take that extra step and to do what it takes to help you get through it.
Yeah.
And that is so important. You've got to have a community. You got to have something in place to help you through it. It's so hard to do it alone. And more people give
But
up if you do it alone.
it's like when you quit drinking, you've got to find your tribe, and that takes time. And so a lot of people just go back to drinking because it's easy, because that's the friendship group that they've always had, and you just stick with it. Like me separating, and I won't say this lightly, but is the best thing that's ever happened to me, because it's helped me heal parts of myself that needed to be healed. Like I was like, super reactive when I was in a relationship, and I wasn't seen, heard, valued, all of those things. And I probably needed more compassion and love. And I think that sometimes these hard things happen as a way to steer us in a different direction. So just keep on going and believing in yourself and trusting that there is a path that you're going on and that something will arise when it needs to. And I think that that's a really important lesson.
Agreed. Absolutely. Sometimes we're like, why is this happening to me? There is a reason.
Mm,
Believe it or not,
mm,
I'm a
mm,
huge believer in everything happens for a reason. And sometimes
mm,
it's just so you can get to the other side. I mean, them hallways are a bitch. One door closes, another one opens.
mm. Yeah, and it takes time. It's not going to happen straight away, but it really does take time. And just have that belief in yourself. Just say, like, I had a ring on my finger when I separated which said, I am enough. I felt like the lowest human on the planet, and I had to build myself back up one part at a time. And I think it's important that it does take time, and just let your tears flow and move all of the things out of your body. Get a journal, make some slime. I was known as the slime lady in practice, like that element of moving through things through your body. And I miss that. I used to do it all the time. I don't do it as much now. And it's important that you find something that works for you. Sometimes, especially for children, it's not sitting there and meditating. They can't sit still. They don't want to meditate. So that's where we use other ways of breath work and other modalities in play therapy.
Absolutely. I love it. Love it. Love it. Was there anything else that you wanted to?
I don't think so. And no, I just want to say that if you're a parent, it's a hard gig. It's not an easy thing to do. You're not given a rule book when you become a parent and said, this is the right way to parent your child. We're all learning. We're all trying to go day by day. And I think that it's just having more compassion and love for you, that you're doing the best job that you possibly can with the tools that you've got. And it's all learning. So just really feel into the experience of what your children can give you, because they're here to teach you. They're here to trigger you. My kid triggers me more than anyone else. And just love every part of you, because you're doing an amazing job.
Is be patient with yourself and your child.
Yeah. The more patient that you can be with you, the more patient that you'll be with everyone around you. But it starts with you first. I wrote a 21-day self-love program just on all of this, is because you need to be the person that's most important in your life, to work on you to be the best person that you can be for everyone around you.
Yeah.
So it starts with you. It starts with you.
Hold up that mirror.
Yeah. Where's that mirror? Where's that mirror going?
Well,
Love-hate
I want to thank
relationship
you
with
so
that
much
mirror.
for being here. I think this is great. I'm going to put all the links in the show notes so people can find you easy. And I'm going to promote the hell out of it when it's live, because I love what you're doing. This world needs to
Beautiful,
be
Tiffany.
healed.
Thank you.
And it's got to start
Yeah,
somewhere.
it does. Yeah, there's a lot of healing that needs to be done. So much. Whew. And thank you for creating this podcast as a space for all of us to come together. And we appreciate you. We appreciate what you're doing. And thank you for having that courage to be able to find your voice, to have this podcast, because it really does help people. Like, don't underestimate who's listening, because a lot of people are.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's actually like doing this is like I've grown so much. It's crazy.
Mm.
Like even my son
Yeah.
told me, he's like, you are not the person you were just a few years ago. And I'm
Yeah.
glad that that shows, because I am growing and healing with all of my community, my listeners, everything. And I love it. I love it.
Yeah. And sometimes it's about finding your voice. Sometimes when we're young, we're shut down, and this is your way of finding your voice. It's beautiful.
That's right. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Don't forget to follow, rate, and review. It helps more survivors find our community. Do you want to be part of the conversation and share your story? Visit truecrimeconnections.com. Until next time, be safe, be seen, and never forget, your story has power.